Well, hello out there, everyone, and welcome to our Get More Math end of school year summer practice webinar. My name is Pam Long. I'm a Get More Math teacher. I know a lot of you out there on the webinars. I'm glad you could take some time out of your day to meet with us. Being a classroom teacher, I can tell you what, this time of the year for me was kind of bittersweet. Like, I was so excited to end the school year. I wanted to be done because, it's a long year. But I was also sad because, I make those connections with those kids and I know they're going to move on. But also I know this is a very challenging time of year, especially with motivation. Like, I know my students were very low on the motivation scale, and I'm sure you're all nodding. Put all of that together with a COVID-19 pandemic, and this has been one crazy year. So we're here to help out. We're here to help ease all of your anxieties and show you some ideas and thoughts of what you can do with Get More Math as you end the school year, so that you're ready to go next school year, rip roaring, everything's all set. And also provides you with a couple summer incentives for those kiddos. Might just be the year to do that for them. So welcome. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me get things rolling here. I am going to turn off my camera as to not distract anyone back there. And I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. So again, end of school year, summer practices. Here we go. School is almost out. I know my own children are very excited about that. As with all our webinars, anytime you have questions or concerns throughout the webinar, I've got two fantastic people on the call with us. We've got Erica Martin and Robbie Brown. They're here and they're ready to help answer any questions you may have. So just simply type them down into the question box and they will get back to you in a timely fashion with everything that you need to know. So sit back and relax. Let me go through the agenda that I'm going to cover with you today. I plan on talking about practice sets, skills, and our collections and what you can do with those. I'd like to address how you can archive classes and give you some helpful pointers about that as well. I'd like to talk about possible summer incentives that you can do with your students during this time. Diagnostic tests might just be what you need at the beginning of next school year. We already are prepping. We have some July and August webinars that will be coming up. And of course, as always, I'm going to give you all the support and resources that we have to provide you as you are working through this, even through the summer. So let's go ahead and get started with the very first agenda item, our practice sets, our skills, and our collections. So I'm going to hop on over to the teacher application. Right here it is. And you know that this, and again, this is one of my demo classes, so the names are a little bit off. But as you know, when you log in, you're on the classes tab. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you go ahead and go to the work tab. Now, I know when I was using Get More Math in my own classroom, maybe it was my first year using it, my work was a hot mess. It looked like this over here. I had practice sets, I had folders, I had things everywhere. So now is the time maybe to take a moment and go through all of this and see what it is you can clean out, see what it is you can remove or move or whatever. Let me give you some ideas. So you can see I have a practice set here named Junk. I can even click on it and open up that practice set and see that I had 5 skills. Now the 5 skills listed here are a little bit of a hodgepodge, like they really aren't really relating to each other. Possibly I made this practice set so that I could print off a worksheet, and you can do that from up at the top here. Maybe I made this practice set to display on my Promethean board as a bell ringer. But now it's really of no use to me. It was maybe at the moment I needed to address these concerns. And I have these skills possibly elsewhere. So what I can do is I'm going to say, yeah, I don't need this any longer. I can simply go up to my 3 dots here and I could click on them and I could remove the skill from here. Or I'm going to X out and head on back. If I hover over that practice set, I will see a trash can to the right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove that. Okay, again, it's going to ask me, do I really want to remove it? And what I want to make a note here for you is, if you delete a practice set, it cannot be recovered. So just be aware of that as you're deleting things out of your practices and out of your work. You want to make sure you realize that you cannot get that back. So I'm going to hit remove. and voila, it's gone. So take some time and go through and clean out some of those things that you have. Something else that might be important is maybe the idea of renaming. I've got some different folders in here. I've got a 7th grade folder, and if I expand that out, I can see, oh, I did a nice job, unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I started to get a little more organized as I was understanding. And if I look down into my unit 1, I can see I have a pattern going on here for naming those practice sets, but oh, that 5th one didn't fit the pattern. So feel free to go ahead in there and change it to the pattern that you had. I'm going to guess it was 1.5 and hit, whoops, hold on. Let me go back here. Discard changes. If I click inside here, now I can do it. Integers. If I just delete the entire thing, it doesn't give me that save option. So I want to make sure I have that save option, and I hit save and I go back, and now it's going to match up with the rest of them. So renaming is also a great idea. I have another practice set down here called week 1. If I open that up, I can see, oh yes, it's all related to absolute value. So once again, click inside the practice set name box, maybe call it absolute value. And now you have a better way of indicating what's inside that practice set just by the name of the practice set. Take some time and do that as well. Move things around in here. Maybe think about doing a little reordering. Maybe if you take a look and I open up my fractions, I can see inside there, ooh, 8th grade. I don't want 8th grade inside the fractions there. So very easily, just click on that folder and just drag it out. And that's the nicest way to reorder. Maybe you're going to do number sense before real numbers, and put them in a nice order for yourself so that you can refer back to those at any time. Something else you might want to consider is taking a look at those practice sets a little more in depth and maybe dividing them up, breaking them apart. For instance, I have a practice set here called stuff, and inside stuff I have 12 skills. There's a lot going on in here, and a lot of different information is being given to the students at this point. We always want to give you those, teacher tips. Make your practice set small. We're saying keep it down to 2 or 3 skills at the most, because we want it to be short, focused practice that the students can then easily complete and move to mixed review, which is where we want them to be. That's where the magic is going to happen, in that mixed review environment. So what you might consider doing is taking this 12 skill practice set and breaking it up a little bit. And let me show you how you can do that. So I can see within here, I've got 4 skills that all relate to triangles. So maybe that's what you would like to do, is go down to your plus, create a practice set, and let's just call it triangles for now. Now, where can I find those skills? If I come to the right and I look under collections down at the bottom, and I open up my work, what I saw on the left under my work is now just duplicated on the right. I can open up the stuff folder, and I can bring those triangle skills, classify triangle by its angle measure. I can add that to this new practice set. I can then come down and grab the next one and add it. Same thing with the 3rd one. I'm sure you're getting the idea here. And the 4th one. So now what I've done is I've taken those 4 skills and I've housed them into their own practice set with a name that identifies the type of skill in there. And then I can choose save. Then what I can do is when I go back, if I open up my stuff folder, now I can just simply delete these skills out of there, because I've already created another practice set that addresses them, and hit save. And I can do the same thing with another grouping in here. So again, that time that you put in now may be very valuable for you when you start up in the fall again, to take that time and organize and reorganize. And then again, simply, if you want to move triangles right into the geometry folder, you can. I can get it in there. There we go. Now, another note is taking a look at our skills and our collections. So over on the right side, if we click on all collections, this is what we will see. Now, I have all skills, so do all of you. I have Pennsylvania because that's just where I reside, and we do have some state folders available depending on where you live. If your state does not have a folder, no need to panic. We're always working on those and we're always building more. So just be aware that they're coming along. We've got unit guides. Again, what a great time to look at your colleagues and look at all of their work and what they've done. But what I would suggest is go into all skills and take a look at some of the skills that we have. Get familiar with them is kind of the idea. Now, I want you to know that we are doing a complete skill bank overhaul. It's underway right now. We're working on it so that it makes it a lot easier for you to find specific skills based on your grade level, based on your standards. It's coming. I've seen it. You're going to love it. It really is a big difference. But here's something that I used to do in my own classroom. You know, I taught pre-algebra, and I would go in through here and I would look, oh, absolute value. We are renaming a lot of the skills, so it's really easy to find what it is you're looking for. Even look at this one, absolute value of two-term expression, see order of operations for more. I love that, even directing you to another place. But I would open each of these up just to see what was in there. When you get to something like maybe definitions, we got lots of definitions in there. We've got graphic organizers in there. There's one skill that I know teachers ask me all the time for, and it's this one, parts of an expression. You know, what are the constants? What are the variables? What are the coefficients? What's the term? If you find a skill, and maybe what you're trying to do is map skills to your curriculum or map skills to your scope and sequence, and you have a document that you're making notes on, you come across this skill and you're like, yes, I definitely want my kids to be exposed to these kinds of questions. What you can do is jot down the skill code, and that is found underneath the problem. The skill code here is 50050. Put it on your curriculum guides, put it on your, you know, I used to do mapping all the time. I would map out my classes, put it there. So when you come back and you're going to maybe build your practice sets at another time, what you simply can do is just come up to the search bar and type in that skill code, and it will find the skill for you. Now, if more than one skill is generated, just follow that up with a quotation mark. Oops, that didn't work. And it'll get down to the basic. If it has a lot of numbers associated with it, the quotation mark will work. But for now, you can see here is that skill that I wanted. So be aware of that. Be aware that writing that skill code down is often helpful. Something else that I want to point out to you as you're working and looking through the skills and getting familiar with them, we do have condensed skills. So under number theory here, I found a little short folder that will help us explain this a little better. Condensed skills obviously will say condensed, and the hexagon will have a white outline around them. So with a condensed skill, if you click on the skill, and again, you're noting the skill code, there happens to be two. The first code is the code for that condensed skill. And the second is the individual skill that has been brought in to make this condensed skill. If you cycle through various samples, you will notice the first number remains the same, yet the second number is going to change because those are the individual skills that have been brought in. So you can see that it's being 001 and 002 are what makes up this condensed skill. So as you're going and assigning maybe this word problem, greatest common factor word problem here, and you notice that's the 001, and you teach that to your students, and again, obviously, least common multiple 002, know that those two skills have a condensed skill. So as you progress through the year, and maybe you're trying to prune your mixed review, or you're trying to disable some skills or have less skills for your students to cycle through, keep in mind that you can replace these two individual skills with this condensed skill. Once they become proficient at them, we say, go ahead and put the condensed skill in there. So maybe make a note of that a condensed skill does exist for those two types of individual skills so that it's easy for you to go back and find those at another time. So there we go. Take some time, go through the skill bank, even go down into the collections and look through your unit guides and borrow some of your colleagues' information as well. So to wrap it up, what are we saying here? Clean it up. Take those practice skills and practice sets and rename them, delete them, or move them around. Here's something else you might want to consider too, is consider a fresh start. I have lots and lots of teachers that use this for the first time this year, and they're like, I just want to start all over again, Pam. Well, go right ahead. You can go into that into your work page, and you can delete all of those practice sets and all of those folders and just start fresh all over again. Maybe that's what you want to do, and that's fine. Explore the skills, explore the collections, make sure that you are familiar with all of those, that you're finding skills that you love and like, and make notes of them. And then again, review your own scope and sequence, review your own curriculum, and build better practice sets. Remember our rule of thumb, keep those practice sets small. All right, there we go. Practice sets, skills, and collections, all taken care of. Just gonna keep on going. Our next one is archiving classes. So let's talk about what archiving classes is. So back at the teacher screen once again, I'm going to come to my classes tab. And here you can see I've got 3 classes. To archive a class is kind of our way of removing the class from your list of, I guess we would call them live classes or active classes. So I don't want anyone doing this right now, just watch. You would select your class, and then in the second column, you would head down to settings. And in the settings, you have the ability over here to archive your class. Once you choose archive a class, it's going to ask you, do you wish to archive it? And then you can hit cancel, or you could hit yes, go ahead and archive it, and it will go away. I'm not going to archive this one just because I don't want to delete it. Now, why do we want you to archive a class? We want you to archive your classes because what it does is it disassociates your students with your class. Now, your students' information will go with them. So any skills taught in your class, whatever the color rating level your students have achieved on those skills will still be attached to them. So as they move from year to year to year, and maybe a teacher is going to use some of those same skills, when they become active for that class, that color rating the student has on it will also be brought along. So by detaching them from your class allows them to now be attached to other classes, but be assured that all of their information is going to go with them. When you archive classes, something I want to tell you, and we get this question a lot, is when you archive a class, your work does not go away. Now, you want to think of everything you do over here as like your file cabinet. It does not go away. Just because your class is over and you've pulled all that information together, you put it in a folder and stuck it away, the work still remains. So don't be fearful that you're going to lose everything that you've done. It's still all there. Now, in terms of archiving classes, what is our rule of thumb? Our rule of thumb is, hey, you know what? Don't do it now. Wait until sometime in August to do it. You never know. These kids may jump on and work on Get More Math over the summer. As shocking as that sounds, it could happen. But we're also going to provide you with some summer incentives that you might want to implement so that your kids actually will get on and work on these skills throughout the summer. So just hang on and wait till August. Further yet, I'm going to say, just wait even a little bit more. Wait until your school has a plan in play for how you're going to return. Because I would hate for you to archive your class and then you're told we're going to begin the school year with your class from last year. I've had a lot of teachers tell me that they're going to begin school maybe the first month with their old class just to kind of get them acclimated and fill in some of those gaps that they have. So maybe just wait until you get a definite directive from your school as to what's going to happen. But I don't want you to be stressed about it. If you happen to, archive your class, we can get it back for you. So I just want you to know that. Wait until August. Again, wait for a plan in play from your administrators. And if you happen to archive by accident, just simply let us know and we can absolutely get that back for you. All right, archiving classes, check. Now, why are we saying wait till August? Summer incentives. Maybe there's some things that can happen over the summer. So let's go ahead and take a look at some things that can be done for summer incentives. So I'm going to head on back to my teacher screen. I'm going to pick this other teacher. So some of the tips and the tricks we're going to tell you when it comes to maybe summer incentives and summer classes, decide for yourself, do you want to make this a requirement for your students, or do you want to just make it a fun activity for your kids? Have a little competition going on throughout the summer. Either way, what we're going to recommend doing is choosing your class and heading to your mixed review report. And within this mixed review report, go ahead and pick skills that you would like your students to work on. You could divvy it up. You could put 10 skills live for 1 or 2 weeks and then put a different set of skills live for the next, 2 or 3 weeks. Go ahead and deactivate and activate skills for your students. I know for myself, if my students are working from home and I want them to get on, I want them to practice skills over the summer because of all of the years for my students to practice skills in the summer, this is the one. This is the one where I know I don't want them to lose any information. And we know they always lose it over the summer, but if I can help them keep those gains as long as possible, I want to do that. Maybe what you want to do is expand out your columns and take a look at accuracy. And what you can do then is maybe order by accuracy, and skills that have a low accuracy might just be skills that you would want to deactivate. If they have a low accuracy, your students aren't doing well on those skills. So why put them in a position where they're working at home on those skills and they're struggling with them? We don't want them to struggle. We want them to feel confident. We want them to, keep what they know so they don't forget it for the next year. So maybe that's the turning point for you, is looking at that accuracy and deactivating some of those low accuracy skills. Either way, go into mixed review and go ahead and choose skills that you would want your students to practice. Maybe they're prerequisite skills for the next year or for the next course, and you definitely want to keep those in there. Another rule of thumb is do not give the students new material over the summer. When they have no instruction, no way to be informed, no way to ask for questions, again, that's going to put them in such a situation where they're going to be frustrated and they're going to be overwhelmed. Let them work on skills they've already been taught on. So therefore, we're not going to be pushing out practice sets for our kiddos. We want to instead have them working in mixed review. So also be sure to click switch to mixed review. Push those kids into that mixed review environment and have them always working there throughout the summer. And you can adjust those skills you want them to work on as the summer progresses. Something else we're also going to put a big thumbs up that we'd like you to do is go to settings. And in the settings, make sure you increase the skips to the max, make them 15. Now, if you only have 10 skills and you make them have 15 skips, they're not going to be able to skip every single one of them. They're only going to be able to skip 9, and there will always be one active skill for them. Be sure to move the slider over here too. Allow them to have skips. Maybe you're logged in at one point in time just to see if anybody else has done anything. Go ahead and turn that on so that those skips are always available for your students. Then when you're looking to track their points, absolutely go to points history here. Put in a range of dates. You could be at the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer, and we're going to report points they've earned per day plus a total. So if you're going to do some incentives where you're telling the kids 10 points a week or 100 points over the summer, you have a great way of tracking those. From the student screen, we got here, I got a student logged in. You can see I have those skips that are live. And also you want to realize that when they're working in mixed review, that's when they'll have those skips. So therefore, we don't want them working in practice sets. They won't have any skips. Something else that's also going to be applied while they're working out of your presence and you're not logged in is that 4-corner avoidance. Typically, when the students have avoided a problem 4 times and they try to avoid it in class, it's going to warn them they have to answer it. But if I click off of it now, it's no problem. It's not going to hold them. So again, skipping just grays out that skill. But again, if you think, oh my gosh, there's not any $signs left, it produces more. Once the kids log out and log back in, all of these skips are going to go and disappear. So if I would just log out of this student here, and I'm going to log right back in as that student, you can see that all of those boxes that were grayed because I skipped them are now not grayed and they're active again with dollar signs. So tracking points and letting the kids work in that mixed review with the skips is going to be really helpful. Now, Erica Martin had a really great idea. It was on Facebook the other day, and I'm going to just kind of turn it over to her real quick as she explains what her idea of is doing a summer incentive for your kiddos. Erica, you out there?
I am. Can you hear me, Pam?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Hi, guys. We had some teachers go into our Facebook teacher group, which you're not a part of. I highly recommend you search that up on Facebook and request access, and we'll be sure to let you in. But we had some teachers say, okay, we want a summer incentive. What are your ideas? And we had lots of good ideas come out. And one of the things I had thought about is I know that often we are always tracking points, and that's a great way to offer incentives for our kids. But I started to think, we all know that the color rating system is sort of the truest measure of long-term proficiency or long-term retention. So this screen I'm looking at right now of Pam's, you can see there are some gold stars and some silver stars. Those are really the skills that this particular student is getting right consistently over time. And so I thought to myself, maybe in addition to giving a reward for a certain number of points, what if we said to our students, hey, listen, we're going to put, that looks like, I don't know, 20, 30 skills here in mixed review. We're going to give rewards for the best color rating. And so maybe it's just who can get their entire mixed review collection into stars. Maybe that's one potential offering. Another way you could do it is say, listen, for every skill you get a gold star, that's going to be almost like a weighted average. That's going to be worth 5 points, every gold star. And every silver star will be worth 4 points. And every green skill will be worth 3 points. And every yellow skill will be worth 2. And the reds, well, maybe you'd even want to go down so the reds aren't worth anything. I don't know. That's totally up to you. So that the kids would, instead of thinking, okay, I know there's this competition and I know they're going to check it in 3 days, so I'm just going to log in and I'm going to do a whole bunch of points in the last 3 days. That's not really what we want. We kind of want them checking in throughout the summer. And what would also show that, other than tracking a calendar, is the progression of colors, because color progression requires accurate answers on multiple occasions. And so, one, your kids would have to understand that. You'd have to make sure that they know you can't just wait till the last minute, sit down, do a million of these problems, and think you're going to get a gold star. That doesn't happen. You have to get them right over time in different sessions. And so if your kids understood that, it would be cool if they logged in, did 1 or 2 or 3 of every block, not so much worried about the dollar signs, not so much worried about the points, but really were just trying to track through everything to see if they could get those colors to move. Now, we did have one of the teachers write back and say, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Do you have a report that will sort of apply those number values to the colors? And the answer is no. But I said, listen, let's just put that on the kids. Let's say to the kids, here's how we're going to calculate your color score, explain it to them, and have them calculate their own color score. So when they all report it, and you have one particular student who says, well, I have 325 for my color score. If they're the winner, you could obviously go in and just sort of check their work versus checking all of your kids' work. So anyway, it was just a different idea. I never really tried that in my classroom. So if anybody does try it, please come back. Let us know how it works, and continue to use that Facebook group throughout the summer. Check in, let us know what you're doing, if it's working, or if you come up with any other ideas. And that's all I had for today, Pam.
Thanks, Erica. I love that idea. I really do. And I think that just makes the importance of moving those colors really stand out for those kids. So great idea. So wrapping up with summer incentives. Let me get over here. Again, required or just for fun. That's really up to you. I want you to think about that. Don't forget, mixed review mode only is kind of where we want them working. Be sure to give them lots of skips and know that they can avoid problems. The 4-corner avoidance is not going to lock them onto problems. And again, tracking points. There's lots of options for tracking points. Some Erica went over, which were great, so keep those in mind. When it comes to class options for the summer, here's what you've got, okay? If you're going to do these incentives with your current class, with your current students, again, you're not archiving those classes till August. So you want to make sure that you keep those classes live. Again, go in, choose your skills, keep that class working in that mixed review environment, and then go to the points history and see how they're doing. Now, I know a lot of you actually already know who your students are going to be for next year. I know, I mean, I taught high school, so I never knew who my students were until literally I got to the first day of school. But some of you know that if you're a sixth grade teacher, you know those fifth graders are coming to you. It's just the way that your school is built. What you can do is offer some incentives for those new students coming in so they can keep up with their skills so that when you get them in the fall, you're not spending a month or two reviewing everything that they need to know. You can already let them practice over the summer to keep those skills fresh. So what you can do is obviously build a mixed review for that new class, pull in skills, start them as a practice set to put them into the mixed review, and then switch to mixed review. You may have to create some student accounts, or if they're already using Get More Math, you may have to import those students. Just either way, you've got to be able to reach out to those kiddos through an email or something to let them know what their username and password is and tell them to go ahead and log in. And then again, if you create these new classes that your kiddos are going to use through the summer, you can continue to use that class for the next school year because your kids will already be in there. So there you've got kind of two options, really depending on your situation and where you are, which one will work best for you and for your students. All right, summer incentives, check, lots of good stuff there. Let's go on to diagnostic tests, okay? So as you're sitting back there relaxing and knowing it's the end of the school year, and maybe you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if there's going to be gaps in my students' knowledge as we start this next school year. Or maybe we should turn those words around and say, oh my goodness, there will be gaps in my students. It's a guarantee. Of all the years of teaching, this one has probably been the most trying. So we definitely know there's going to be gaps. So and as far as summer incentives go, this is probably the best summer to really push those incentives so that we don't lose all the information that they have gained. So we want to make sure we can identify gaps. We want to make sure that we do information from those gaps that we have. We're going to use that to inform our instruction moving forward. And then again, we can build an initial mixed review from the item analysis. So this would be done at the beginning of the school year so that you can get an idea of where your kiddos are. And so let me kind of just jump back to the teacher screen and show you here. So on the classes page, if I go to exams, you would create a diagnostic exam for your class. There's lots of ways you can create an exam and get information about that. I'm going to show you those coming up and where you can get those. That's a whole nother webinar and lesson. So let's just suppose that you knew how to do it and you created your exam. So I'm going to call it maybe exam 4 here. Once that exam is created and your students have taken the exam and now you want to identify where those gaps are, we have this ability to do a view analysis. A view analysis allows you to look at all of the questions that were on your exam. You can order by student missed, or you can order by point missed. And you can take a look at the skills that your students struggled the most with. And what you can do is select those skills. Maybe I'm going to select the top 10 or top whatever. And what's really wonderful about this is you can create a practice set. Right here, if we click on that, it pops us over to the work page. We could just name this one, gaps. We can save it. And then we could either push it out as a practice set. We could hit start, which then will fill these skills into the student's mixed review. Or what we can do is we could break it apart. We could do 3 maybe at a time. Be sure to address all of those skills, model those skills for your students. I know once I hit start and I pick my class, it's going to go into their mixed review. It tells me that down here on the bottom. I can view where that mixed review is. And then again, I can just obviously display these up, collapse my windows down, and practice them with the kids. So filling in those gaps is going to be a big thing. So go ahead and feel free to make diagnostic tests at the beginning of the school year so that you can evaluate where those kiddos are. It'll help give you a little bit more information on informing your instruction, obviously, and therefore you can have a more seamless approach to the beginning of the next school year, which is pretty awesome. Okay, as far as exams go, I know I mentioned you can make these diagnostic exams. We've got lots of videos and webinars and trainings out there. I'm going to show you exactly how to get to those, but we are starting a live online group training. We're going to call it Live Group Training 4. And that group training 4 starts on Monday, and it's going to be all about exams. So I'm going to show you exactly where you can go and sign up for that. We have lots of courses I'm going to show you about. Just finished creating an exams course, so you can watch that as well. We also have an on-demand webinar about exams as well. So if you just aren't sure about how to create that diagnostic exam, you've got lots of options out there, and you can always reach out to us because but we will help you through anything. So lots of good information there that I've given you in terms of summer incentives and diagnostic tests and archiving. Planning ahead, looking forward to the future. We already have some webinars planned, but just before we get to the webinars, I know that we've given you lots of options. You can take them all, do those summer incentives. But quite honestly, when I was a classroom teacher, I took the OR, and the OR was to relax and take care of yourself. You know, I know this has been a trying year, very trying for all of us. So if you were like me, guilty right here, I took my summers and I enjoyed them. I spent the time with my family and I traveled, I relaxed. So do that if you need to. We all need that to rejuvenate and come back next year feeling just refreshed. So if your motivation for the summer is it's all about yourself, you deserve it. Take that time for yourself. But if you want to plan ahead, we're already posting and having you be able to register for July and August webinar. It's the exact same webinar. It's going to be getting started with the new school year. It's going to be hosted on July 28th and again on August 6th from noon to 1. And I'm going to show you exactly where you can sign up for those. So if you want to get a jump start and get that registered, you go right ahead and sign up for those. Okay, so now support and resources. And this is by far my favorite part. Our support and resources team is here all the time. We work all summer long. So at any point in time, if you're working in the summer or you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We have got tons of resources. We've got in-app messaging. We've got trainings and academy courses and videos and webinars. We've got lots and lots of ways to reach into those resources. And how do you get them? Is you go through getmoremath.com. So if you click on getmoremath.com here, I'm going to go to our webpage and I'm going to look under the resources tab. And that's where you're going to find all of that information. Let's start with the first column, resources. Training courses. We offer 4 different levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and there is the exams. You just simply click on the register here and you can register for those. You can take them as many times as you want. We've got lots of times available, lots of days available. So if you need a little more information, go to those free training sessions online. We also have this new skills added. Oh, I love, love, love this. These are any skill that has recently been added. We have put them in here. You can look by grade level, which I do love because we get a lot of requests for certain skills. And then what we do is we have a description here. But if you click on this link right here, it'll take you to an example of that type of problem. And when you refresh, it'll show you multiple examples. So keep an eye out for those new skills as well as they're being released. Here's that Facebook teacher group. Again, it's Get More Math Teachers. Go ahead and join that. It's run by all of us on the training team. We have our academy. I was mentioning that to you. There's lots of courses in here, and especially calling your attention to course 4. It's on exams, so go ahead and take a look at those or any of the courses that are in here. They're all valuable resources for you. We have help articles. Again, these can be accessed through our in-app messaging. That would be on the teacher screen down in the bottom right corner. I'll show you real quickly here. We have that green in-app chat message. You can message us at any time through that. But when you click on that, you have the ability to access articles. I'll show you real quickly right here. It'll say on the bottom here, find an article. Well, you can also find that on our homepage. And right here they are. And you could just search, type in points, and it'll find any little article we have related to the word points, or points is found within it. Here's our webinars, upcoming webinar. Click on that, and you're going to be able to see that July and that August webinar that you're able to go ahead and register for right now. So feel free to do that and get that out of the way. On-demand webinars, or webinars that we've already hosted, that you can go back and watch at any time. And again, we have an exams one available. Here's a shout out to all my Java users out there. If you're a Java user, we know that Java is retiring. We've got a great webinar here that's a transition from Java to web. So go ahead and take some time and watch that so you get acclimated to the web version. The middle column is going to be lots of documents. As you can see, our first document here is using GMM for summer retention. Feel free to browse through that. Here's another big hint. If you're using this with a brand new class next year, jump down and check out our student scavenger hunt. It's an excellent way to get your students in on the Get More Math program and exploring all of the different options that are there. We also have videos over here for students and parents. So have your students and parents watch those. And again, another little tutorial set of videos here on exams. So that teacher resources page is such a valuable place. So be sure you visit that and look at all the different things we have there to offer you. So let me put my face back up here. Hopefully you can see me. I just want to say thank you for attending the webinar. We know that you're giving 100% out there, and we are so grateful for you, and let you know that we are here to help in any way possible. If over the summer you find yourself in a sticky situation, please feel free to reach out to us. You know, our email address is support@getmoremath.com. If you have any information in terms of licenses or contracts, go ahead and reach our sales team. Their web address is info, or their email, I should say, is info@getmoremath.com. So let me come back to Erica and Robbie and see if there were any specific questions that we need to know about, or anything that came up that we can answer as a group. Robbie, Erica?
Yeah, I had a number of questions about the certificates that we provide. So I sent out a bunch of individual answers, but I just wanted to go ahead and let everybody who's still around know. We do provide certificates for all of our live training sessions. So whether that's a webinar like this one, or any of those 4 training courses that Pam was pointing out, we will send out certificates of completion for all of those if you attend the live version of it. If you watch the recording later on your own, that's great. We're really glad that you do that, but we don't provide certificates for that. And then we don't have certificates for our training academy courses either. So any live training that you attend, we'll send a certificate that will be sent automatically as a part of our follow-up today. So I think it's about 4 hours later after today's webinar, you'll get that certificate in the mail. So just wanted to make sure that that was clear for everybody on the call.
Thanks, Robbie. I know another question has come in about whether we report those hours. I know a lot of states have different standards in terms of hours. I know in Pennsylvania, we do Act 48 hours. Get More Math will not report those hours. So what you would have to do is you would have to take your certificate and take it to your school administrators and have them report those hours for you, or you would have to submit that to PDE somehow. So just to let you know that you will have the copy of the certificate, but we won't be reporting those for you. Excellent question. Anything else? Well, folks, it's been a pleasure. Thank you once again for sharing your time with us. Good luck out there as you wrap up the end of the school year. I know it's like, whoo, I'm back again. It's like, oh my goodness gracious, I'm so glad we finally got to this point. But I know we're all here for the kids, and we're all trying to do our best and realize that, you know, as you guys are learning through all this, so are we, but we're here and we're available to help in any way that we can. And again, share your ideas on that Facebook teacher group. If you share them, I know a lot of other teachers really benefit from that. I also want to do a quick shout out to all those teachers that have happened to be retiring this year. I know I was thinking about some of you the other day, and I thought, my gosh, bless your heart. Thank you for all you've done and all the years you've put in. And I know you've made changes in those kids' lives. So best of luck to you in your future. Enjoy retirement, and post it on Facebook and let us know when you're retiring, and we'll give you a big shout out and an applause. So Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have yourself a great day. Reach out anytime you have questions. Take care.